Well, I'm Micheal Felker, and it's an honor for me to be here today. I'm so excited to get to speak to you and to talk to you about my experience here. I grew up in Dallas, at Dallas Christian School. My dad still teaches there. He's been there for 33 years or so, 34. This is my beautiful wife, Sandy. We have two kids. We have a son named Houston, and that's named after Bono. And I have a daughter named Adele, and so we've got two singers in the house, and they love music, and that tells you a little bit about our personality and our family. And Houston is 7 and Adele is 4, and so we're just kind of in a really great place. We're not having to change diapers. We're not having to carry car seats around. We're loving this time of our lives. And so part of that is that coming down here, even though it's 20 minutes from the Dallas-Fort Worth airport, I still come down here to school, and so I'm glad I get to a few moments to tell you about why that is. Why do I come all the way down here for Austin Grad? And so because I'm a preacher, I decided to use an acronym. And so I'm going to talk about the AGST, Austin Graduate School of Theology, AGST, and A is this applicable academics. What I've learned here is that the books that we're reading, the conversations that we're having, everything that we're doing in school is very applicable to every aspect of what I'm doing, from parenting to preaching to leading the church to doing all of that. And I wanted to couple that applicable with academics because I feel that the academics here are so good and so rigorous. I'm at the age now, I'm 36. A lot of my friends have gotten PhDs or gotten doctorates, and some of the conversations and books and things that they mentioned in their doctoral programs, I was getting the first semester that I was here. And so I already kind of had recognized these names. I'm like, I had that conversation just last week with a friend of mine who I thought was trying to impress me. And now I can go back and impress them as well. And so very, very applicable academics here. I look forward to coming here, and then I get that 3-hour drive to let everything just kind of soak over me and think about what we've talked about in class as I head back. The G is a great God, and I have been introduced to a great God while being here, listening to these professors, listening to the experiences of my classmates and my friends. Now I have my view of God and God's people and what God has called us all to has been strengthened, has been enlarged. We really do serve a great God, and I get to celebrate and worship that God every time I come here for my 2 classes on Tuesdays. The other is for S is super students, and like Dr. Reed said, I've had Joseph and Kim. I've had Kim in a handful of classes together, and you guys really are friends, and I've really enjoyed the interactions that I've had. Usually in class there may be 1 or 2 students and maybe the professor that have the same faith background that I do, and getting to hear from the backgrounds and the experiences of other people and see that, man, the problems that we talk about in the churches of Christ are the same problems that other churches are going through, and the same God that we serve, they serve, and I just have really enjoyed my time with these super students that I get to call friends. And then the T is for just terrific teachers, and the teachers that I've had here have just been phenomenal. And I even emailed Dr. Napier this week and just said, hey, I really appreciate the class that we've been having, and he emailed back and said, it's the whole dynamic of the class, and we had a really good class on Tuesday, didn't we, Kim? So it's just that's what makes it all worth coming down here. I could have added a couple of things to the A. I could have added affordable, and it is definitely affordable for me to come down here. But the other would have been I looked at Abilene Christian for a little bit, and Austin has much better food than Abilene does, and so that won out as well. But when I'm kind of over the last couple of weeks, really, I've been doing this for about a year. This fall, I started last fall, and when I started, I didn't get any questions or anything about it at church, really. But I've really started to kind of get a handful of whisperings of, Michael's getting his master's degree. Does that mean he's going to be moving on? I've been at this same church for 10 14 years. I was the youth minister, and then they demoted me to preach and to work with the adults. And so I've started to kind of hear some of those whisperings about, oh, is Michael getting his master's so he can move on to bigger and better things? And I try to tell people that's not the whole reason I did this. I'm not here as a stepping stone or to move on to another church or anything like that. I'm doing this because I need it. I need to continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to be a few steps ahead of the congregation so that I can point them to these things as well and walk with them. And so that's the whole reason that I'm here. One of my favorite verses is 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27, and I have it here. It says, Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it a slave, so that after I've preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. And one of my favorite movies is Rocky. How many of you have seen the movie Rocky? Okay, love the movie Rocky. And at the beginning, if you'll remember at the beginning of the first Rocky movie, he's washed up. He's kind of a loser, nobody boxer. He's not winning really in the ring, and he's kind of used those skills and those gifts to be a loan shark heavy. And so he's wasting his talent. He's wasting everything, and he gets this opportunity to fight for the heavyweight championship. Right? He gets this opportunity to fight Apollo Creed, who is like the boxer there, and nobody expects him to do anything. He doesn't. All he has to do is show up, and he'll still get a payout. He'll still get money. But instead of just trying, he trains. He goes and he starts to train his body, and he chases that chicken around, and Mick yells at him, and all that kind of stuff. And he gets to the fight, and he goes toe to toe with Apollo Creed. And it's a 40-year-old movie, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But Rocky doesn't win in the first Rocky, right? But he did win. Okay, he trained his body. He went toe to toe. He stepped in that ring, did something that nobody else thought that he was capable of, and he learned about himself and learned about life. It really is a great coming of age story for an adult. And so that's what I feel about why I'm here at Austin Grad, is that I don't want to just try in ministry. I don't want to just go listlessly and continue on, go to conferences here and there. I really want to train. I want to train my mind, train my body, train my spirit, so that when all is said and done, I will not be disqualified for the prize. And Austin Grad is really helping me train for that. So thank you guys.